that are doing well. Adam Peters, general manager of the Washington Commanders, and Pat McAfee, one of the highest paid and most successful people in sports media.
Yeah.
Well, the two of them decided to hang out yesterday. Peters was on McAfee, and they had a long, lengthy conversation. And a lot of it I wanted to discuss. I think we start with a trade because we were talking about these wide receiver trades. Let's talk number 5, Landfill. This is AP on trading for Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was actually at the Combine. I was hanging out with Lynch at lunch, and we started talking about it. And, obviously there's a lot of talks that go into it, but knowing Deebo from when we drafted him to just the competitor that he is on the field, he's one of the best competitors on the field that I've ever seen in my life. And just he can put a team on his back and will you to win. So understanding what type of person he was, understanding that I worked with John, and he's going to be awesome to deal with, and then understanding our offense, which is getting the ball out of Jayden's hands quickly, and he's really good at that, and getting the ball in space and moving fast. That's going to present a lot of problems for defenses.
Thoughts?
I agree. As I said a couple of weeks ago, Deebo is going to be a problem for cornerbacks. And we saw last year with Terry and Zacchaeus, all these guys, Adam gets the ball in your hands and you have to break a tackle sometimes. The one Terry went the distance. He split 2 guys and went the distance in Detroit. So Deebo will be doing that too. Now, you don't know what side it's going to. This is going to be Terry, Deebo, and one thing I know about Terry blocks. Deebo blocks. Can you imagine them dudes going down and somebody needs one more block to get him into the end zone?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Deebo trade made all the sense in the world. At the Combine, we were all hearing it might happen. I like it. And I think this was pretty telling of Peters. Like, getting to know Adam, I knew him a little before he landed here, right? But getting to know him a lot more over the last year, he is, the amount of people love during the bad old days, the topic of who had final say over the 53 was like a constant talking point, because the reality was everybody knew it was Dan.
Yeah.
But then Dan's henchman was Bruce, and then everybody knew it was Bruce. Like, it drove Shanahan crazy. It drove Gruden crazy.
Why hire guys? Don't let them do their job.
Right. But with Peters and DQ, technically AP is DQ's boss, but they legit work together, and the whole building does. And they listened. The reason they took Connerly there is because the scout was adamant. Like, they listen to their guys. They allow their people to work and give input. And
the scout was adamant, and your offensive coordinator was like,
he wrote you a love note.
Pick this dude right here. Because you know what it means? And listen, I've talked to those guys, and I've listened to players talk. Everybody's voice is heard. You come and you say something, they're not going to just dismiss it. They're going to listen to it. And they may not do exactly what you said, but they may have taken something from what you said to help them make the decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that makes a world of difference. I always say, if you could make people understand that you believe in what they're saying, you let their voice have some type of weight, you get whatever you want out of them.
Well, I thought this was really interesting. Number 6, Landfill. Adam Peters talking about who he talks to and listens to on roster decisions.
Yeah, we're listening to everybody in the building, AJ, and the R&D team especially. It's really cool because it feels like there's 14 people in this one little office. It's like a big think tank, and they're all really smart and they're all really passionate. And like a cool story this year was when we drafted Trey Amos, who was like an R&D darling. We call him analytics, we call him R&D, but when we drafted him, you could hear like a roar from like 2 doors down because we drafted him and that he fell to us, which was really awesome. But all his metrics were incredible. But listening to them and being they're passionate about whether we're making a trade, whether we're making a draft pick, whether we're signing a free agent, But then there's also the coaching aspect and, of course, the scouting aspect and everybody working together in unison and collaborating. It's been really cool, and we're just getting started. I think we're going to get better and better as the years go on.
I agree.
It really is collaborative, and all of a sudden, what has always been a joke in Ashburn, analytics. I remember Ron yelling about the analytics of football. Like, they have cutting edge stuff going now. Like, it's just, it's a different situation. But
be honest about this. You can have two different teams, and they both can deal with analytics, but they can look at it differently. Some teams only look at that, and it makes all the decisions. Other teams may look at it to enhance their belief of what they see. You know what I mean? And there are some people who will take the analytics and before they go see the person, and they wouldn't see certain people based off of what the analytics state. So it's not all just a one-trick pony. And I think some people talk it because it's what's new. They don't know what the hell is going on.
Walk it like you talk it. I loved this. We actually played this in all ears last night. Number 2, Landfill. This is Peters talking about when he knew Jayden was the guy.
Well, I think it was just a process of everything from the moment he got in here, the moment we flew him in for interviewing for him after we drafted him, and he wanted to go through the playbook while he was here, and he was doing like dropbacks on the plane back to flying back to LA, and just every step of the way you could see the humility that he had, the work ethic that he had, just the way he connected with his teammates out. The fields are right over here, like out on the grass, and the way he went about everything. He earned everything he had. And so it was just kind of a step-by-step process, but you could feel it right away what a special person he was.
Special person indeed. I think we've all seen that now. I think, so much of the future for the team is indicative because of Jayden Daniels, right? Like, Jayden is just the truth in this situation. And
if you find a guy with Jayden's mindset at that position, it makes a lot of stuff easy. In all my years of playing ball, I looked at the quarterback and the veteran players, and I watched how the coaches handled them. Just like I watched my mom and dad with my older brothers and sisters. You find out what to do and what not to do real quickly. And if Jayden is doing all the right stuff and working as hard, how the hell can the other people complain? Especially people falling down the roster. So it makes people fall in line, and that makes coach's job easier, which in turn now tells the GM and the scouting department, we better get more guys like this. Makes your job easier. You don't have to worry about who's going to show up, who's not going to show up.
Sure. Now, one other aspect to this is Jayden's success for sure, but his cliff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Adam Peters and this group they're aware that Cliff Kingsbury is going to be a hot commodity. And it didn't happen this year, but you got to wonder. You got to keep your eyes out there. And if I'm Cliff, you know where I'm looking? 2 places specifically.
Where?
Cincinnati, Buffalo. I don't know. Cincinnati, I think you could argue, should have made a change. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Mm-hmm. Buffalo, just from a straight-up record standpoint, hell no, they shouldn't make a change.
Well, Cincinnati better make a change in the way that they pay people instead of regular and worry about other stuff, because they better make sure that their quarterback happy.
I agree. But those 2 jobs, like, Kingsbury's not leaving for a job. He's leaving for a good job. This is AP number 4, Landini. AP talking about Cliff Kingsbury and becoming a head coach again.
He's a great coach and he's a great person. But I think what's cool about here is what the culture DQ has created, where people want to be here, people want to stay here. They're having fun working, they're having fun playing. So it makes it an easy decision. If it's not your perfect role that you want to move up to, whether it's head coach or something else, you have a great home here. And really that's how I felt when I was in San Francisco under John Lynch, where I really loved being there. But if there was the great opportunity came like it did with Washington, then I could take it. But if not, then I'm really, really happy here, and that's the culture that DQ's created within the staff here.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yo, not only did you not lose Cliff, you didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
That's kind of unheard of in an NFL offseason. Not even in a good or bad. Like, sometimes dudes just leave to get a new job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it in a good or bad way. I'm just saying they didn't lose anybody.
When I talked to AP in, I think it was the Super Bowl in Vegas, and I said, "Man, y'all getting a nice coaching staff here." He said, "Yep," and they all want to play coach with him. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Y'all didn't trade." He said, No. All these guys came because of Dan. Not that we were hiring people, bringing them in. Cliff wanted to work with Dan. Everyone hears about how we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand, how he runs his program, how he gives everybody some authority. Some coaches people don't want to work for.
Totally. Some coaches are full of it, and they want to try to like keep credit to themselves. There's like all these things that happen. DQ's not one of them, man. They go out of their way to compliment the people on the staff that make decisions. It's what is the saying? You never know. It's like, I wish I could know when the good times are before they're over. Something like that. These are the good times right now, man.
Yeah.